wait. Oh. Full screen. I think it's going. Okay. Oh, I have to do this here. Uh-oh. Oh, I should have done this first.
Yep,
Darn
I'm
it.
live on my channel.
Okay. I think I'm not, but that's okay. Don't know. Hello, everyone. We are just setting up. Actually, I'm using, you have to, oh, that's great. That didn't work. Oh, well. Okay. You have to put the thumbnail picture in every time. And it's like part of the picture. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Okay.
And I need to,
What are we putting? Just open forum, right?
I put weekly news and discussion with Bryan and Kelley.
Okay. Well, I have been on the road today for a gymnastics competition. My daughter's, not me. Should go without saying. So all I know is that Trump Tower's on fire. That was about as much as I had time for today. Weekly news and chatter. There we go.
Put this up on Twitter.
Okay. Okay, let's see if D Live is going.
Man, Bilson Marilla has been on fire lately. That guy is
You know, I've read
really pretty good.
tweets and stuff I've heard, but I have not actually seen a video with him yet. I need to because he sounds like the real deal, but I haven't. Uh-oh. No, I did start streaming. Okay. There we go.
And I don't know if you saw this, but Nico House was supposed to do an interview with Dorothy Gask tonight.
Oh.
Something must have gone wrong because it never started.
So aren't you doing, oh boy, you can tell I've been out. It's like 37 degrees and raining here. It is so gross outside.
It's actually kind of warm and humid out here.
Oh God, it's like winter is back. It's disgusting. Anyway, so yeah, hair and makeup crew today on vacation. But no, aren't you interviewing her on Monday?
Tuesday.
Oh, right, because that's conflicting with the other thing. Okay, so is that at 9 Eastern Standard Time? 6 Pacific?
I think so, yeah. It's going to be at like 9 Eastern time.
Well, maybe you'll finish up by 3. I mean, by 3. By 9:30 our time. 30 minutes, I meant to say.
Yeah, could be, yeah. I mean, if everything goes well.
I guess it would be a little funny to have you join in once we're already going, but if you don't talk for half an hour, then well, I'll send you the link anyway for it, because on Tuesday we are having Brandon DeGraff, who's been on Nico's channel, I know, talking about his book Bernie Won and the documentary he's working on, Rigged. We're also going to have Green Party candidate Jason Kishinev. Oh, I need to look at the camera. And honestly, this is really exciting to me. We have Momita Ahmed. I'm probably not pronouncing her name correctly either, but I'm so excited because she is the Bernie delegate that was actually assaulted by a Hillary bro.
And that was in New York?
Yep. This old man, and I don't care, I'll call him out by name. I'm sure he's watching this. His name is Nicholas Silich. And I remember seeing this, and I was just like, I was so angry because it was after the whole accusations of chair throwing in Nevada. And, you know, that was all over TV news for what, a week? That's BS. All they kept saying. And
Total BS.
And then this happened, and there's a video where he actually, this old guy, actually hits her with his cane, and you can even hear it. And apparently, so if you look up the video, I think I sent that to you in one of the messages. You've seen it. Yeah, so you don't see, like, obviously something happened when she walked past him the first time. Because the video starts where she turns around and she walks back to him and she says, "Don't you fucking touch me," to this old guy.
Yeah.
And she turns to walk away and you hear this whack. And you hear the person that was recording it and her going,
Yeah.
like, just shock that this man had the nerve to do that. And I don't understand why. Maybe they tried to press charges, but I sure as hell would have. But we'll have to ask her about that. Like, what happened? Did you try to press charges? Did you think about, about
She
that?
really should have, because that's uncalled for. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's assault.
Mm-hmm. It is. And I looked
That's
them
assault.
up. Like, I just got my sleuthing on and figured out who he was. And as I recall, his wife, at least, maybe not him, but his wife was a friend of Hillary Clinton from Arkansas. So
Hillary actually has friends.
I guess. Well, yeah, people that will beat Bernie delegates with the cane.
I guess.
But I think it's just proof that right there, what happened there, and the fact that you didn't hear a damn thing about it. TYT did cover it. That was before
Unreal.
Jank and crew, fell in line. They did cover it, but you didn't hear about it anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that was so, compared to what? In Nevada, supposedly somebody picked up a chair and was so angry they wanted to throw it, and people came over and talked them out of it. So, anyway, it should be a good discussion. So, that is...
Hello?
Hello.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, where did you put the link on your YouTube page?
No, I put it up on Twitter.
Okay, on your Twitter. Okay. So we had a fun little porn shot. Do you remember? We did get the name though, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I don't remember.
I don't either. I deleted that.
Yeah.
I deleted that video.
Yeah, I think it might. I looked the name up on Facebook, and there looked like two possibilities. Because when you sign in through Zoom, if you have, I don't know exactly how that works, but it knows your name. So I guess it's whether you're signing in through through Chrome, or I don't really know how that works. But anyway, I looked the person up on Facebook, and it looked most likely to be about, like, I would say a teenage kid.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's not surprising. But whoever that was might have been on the other side of the globe.
Don't know.
You're welcome to come back in and talk.
We've got Snork and Shirley in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Just so you guys know, I placed the Zoom link over on Twitter, so just look up my Twitter.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't put it on mine yet. I'll do that too.
Yeah, you should be able to find the Zoom link. So let me know if you have trouble getting in.
And I'll put it on mine also.
So,
this is.
Let's get into the whole thing with Bernie not endorsing.
Ooh, bad.
I don't at this point understand what Bernie is doing. If he's trying to really distance himself from his base, he's doing a good job, because this is not how you win people. What do we got?
Somehow I have this titled. Oh crap! Hang on. Somehow I have this titled that's really bad. Hang on. I'm gonna have to change this. Oh crap! All right. Keep talking, Brian. I've got to do some tech stuff here. I think somehow I left a title in here from when we had a candidate on, and we don't need to be.
Oops.
Yeah. Oopsie.
Yeah, like I was saying, we've got an issue. We've got Bernie, who basically started this whole ball rolling. And, we've been kind of dependent on him, kind of continuing to keep that going. And I don't get it. I don't understand what Bernie is trying to do at this point. You can't just abandon your own movement and hope to, kind of keep things going and maintain your support. It's really not going to happen. I think Bernie is hurting himself at this point and hurting his chances of getting elected. He's making the same mistake that the DNC makes in terms of their base. They've completely distanced themselves from their own base, and that's why so many people at this point have dem exited. And Bernie's making the same damn mistake. And he should know that.
If I had to make a guess, I kind of think Bernie's like, okay, what do I know? It's not like I've talked to him, but this is just my guess. He's like, okay, I did what I was supposed to do. I fell in line. I've been on the stump all this time saying Russiagate stuff, and I'm just kind of, maybe he's just done. Maybe he's ready to and he knows that he's ready to leave the world of politics, maybe. And maybe he just knows that by doing this that he will lose most of his base, and he knows, the Hillary supporters, they still hate him. So I don't see how it wins over either group, either segment of the Democrats. Okay, I just need to find out because I made this error with my title. And now I'm not sure what's going on. I may have to restart this. It's saying I'm online, but I don't see it on Twitter. Okay. Yeah, and Snork said he didn't see it. Should I turn it off and back on? I'll just do that. We'll see what happens. No, it says I have to restart. Well.
Yeah, it's not coming up.
Okay, well, you're on your YouTube channel, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm on D Live. Which, if anybody's listening, Snork, it's the same in D Live, or Steam it at Kelly's Words. What? I know, because when we changed the title, something happened in it. I don't know what to do other than to restart everything. Huh? Actually, you know what? Why don't I just retweet you, Bryan? That'll be easier.
Okay.
I'll do that. Okay. Don't know how that happened. What is going on? Search. Okay. There we go. Okay. I'll put this in. Nope. Okay. Just retweet it. That's about all I can do. Otherwise, I have to stop and restart everything.
Right.
So I would have left it, except I had it as that we were talking to a candidate, which looks not good. So, okay. Let's see how that worked. So you have to help me out because I have been on the road today. What is the story, or well, sorry, we should finish up this part. Trump, all I know is about Trump Tower on fire, but
got it.
We can go to that in a minute, I guess. Sorry. Do you want to say more about Bernie and Tim Canova?
I don't understand what he's doing. If he's trying to really piss us off, it's working. I don't understand his point to this. I mean, I hear people talk about, this is a strategy of his, or he's playing he's playing some kind of third dimensional chess or some crap. I don't know. I don't get it.
Well, what do you think about what I said, that maybe he wants to just kind of bow out? I mean, that would be a good way to do it.
Could be.
Okay, so I retweeted Bryan, which has the link. There we go.
That should
Hi,
be
Snork.
in there, Snork.
How's it going?
Hey, Snork. Good to see you.
So yeah, I don't know if you heard what I was saying. We'd have to like start all over. I just changed the title and it made the stream stop on Periscope, I guess. So we're learning. What do you think, Snork? Do you think Bernie's doing that on purpose so he can bail out? Any thoughts?
I certainly hope he's preparing to bail out. What's happening at this point, I feel most likely, is he is building a base where large enough following that he can't be pushed aside and ignored again.
You know what, guys? I hate to do this, but this is posting on Periscope as that I have. Oh well. I'll not worry about it because I don't think that many people will look. But it still says CFAR candidate and Charles. Oops. What do you think? Should I just leave it?
Just leave it. It's fine.
Okay.
And I'm seeing something pretty strange here. Can I share for a second?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Oops, I got to make it where I can see share. I am following Bryan, so I should have no problems seeing him in my normal Twitch stream.
Are you kidding?
Wow.
Are you kidding?
This is from the link that you sent me. I didn't type it in, but you have disappeared from my tweets. And when I try to follow your link, that's what I got.
So I'm effectively shadow banned. That's awesome. I've made the big time.
So you said something to make somebody upset.
It's probably
Bandy or Hillary.
Tweets at I did a number today directly to Bernie, Beto, Tim Canova, and
Andrea.
Hey, Andrea. And a number of others, and they probably just they probably got pissed. Oh
wow. Okay. But I'm not shadow banned, huh?
Yet.
I'm
matter of time.
Yeah.
Hello.
How's it going?
Bye, Andrea.
Hi, good. How are you?
Okay. We're just doing the usual chit chat, news of the day.
Yeah.
And
who's here?
Huh?
Who's here?
Bryan and I and our friend. He goes by Snork. Snork is a scientist that lives in Iowa. I don't know.
Yes.
I'll let you reveal anything else you want to reveal. But we were just talking about what we think Bernie is doing by not endorsing Tim Canova, and just I'm kind of speculating. I think maybe he wants out. He's
that's what I'm thinking.
Who wants out? Bernie.
Bernie wants out.
I don't know. I think he might just be wrapping it up. He knows that he can't. I mean, what can he do if he endorses Tim Canova? I mean, he wouldn't run as an independent himself.
Right.
I don't know.
If he endorses Tim Canova, he may incur so much wrath on Tim Canova. So it might be more that he is shielding Tim than hurting him.
Or maybe he's going to wait until the last minute.
I don't know.
You're right. If he waits to the last minute, he has a big hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once he drops his hammer, he can't drop it again. So he's only got one chance to wait. And
Could be.
I love
I do not want to see him run as a Democrat again. I don't want to see him give Lucy another chance to pull the football.
No.
Probably too young to know that one.
Oh, I know that one.
No, we're not young. Maybe Andrea.
But
the Peanuts
that reference, don't you? Lucy's pulling the football from
yeah,
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would not give any money while he's with the Democratic Party. And I'm a member of the Democratic Party because in my state, there is no viable Green Party yet. We have one candidate running in my district who will be ineligible to serve in Congress. So I'm not wasting money on that game. But I did vote for a woman in the last election, just not Hillary.
Yeah. I gave to Dennis Kucinich's campaign in Ohio. Cool. He's a Democrat, so.
Yeah, I know Dennis.
Dennis has been a decent fellow for his entire career.
Yeah, I love him. I'm actually working with David Bright right now on Reuben Major's campaign, and he was the elector, the deflector elector, or defector elector who endorsed Bernie. And he was Dennis Kucinich's former campaign manager in 2000.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like such a great guy.
Isn't it funny how, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I know maybe Bryan, because we're the same age. My whole perception of Dennis Kucinich, I have to admit, which goes back to, I guess, probably late 80s, early 90s, whenever he was, they always put a tinfoil hat on him.
Yes,
so
they have.
You had that sort of,
they have. Yeah.
Back then, even before the internet, but we didn't have alternate sources really to go to find out about him, and so that's how he was painted. And I think it's interesting now to see, now that I know more and can look at other places, you see that it's that same tactic they try to put on Ralph Nader and Jill Stein. But that's really how I used to think of Dennis Kucinich. He's kind of kooky. And if anybody had pressed me, well, why? I would have been like, I don't know, he just is. I hate to admit that, but that's what the media does. When you don't really know anything about someone, but they've worked really hard to put a certain narrative on them, and then you just kind of go along with it if you're not awake. So...
Yeah, I used to think the Clintons were good because we had a surplus.
Oh.
Shame.
Right.
The Clinton surplus. I had a front row seat to that. I was in manufacturing, and I was in factory after factory that was shut down. I was also privy to the sides of the conversations that the public didn't get to see, being in the upper administration of these companies. As an engineer, I would get to hear the reasoning behind everything. I can remember many cases where the company would be, we're staying here no matter what. You'd get a visit by Rostenkowski or some other high-ranking Democrat. And suddenly they would walk out with a smile, a huge campaign donation, and our company would be on the block for moving out offshore. And I liken it to selling a cow. After you sell your dairy cow, you've got a lot of money to go out and buy milk for months and months. When it's gone, you don't have a cow, you got to start buying it.
Right.
That's what happened. We had all kinds of jobs in the late 90s, just for truckers. People who voted Republican because of all the jobs of moving all the factory parts down to Mexico. There was all kinds of jobs at the factories that were still here to make the parts to build the factories in Mexico. By 2001, although Bush was a horrible president, he was given an empty bag because the Clintons had completely sold the country to make it look like they were prosperous. And then handed George Bush the bag after the Clintons had empowered all the companies like Enron to gut the financials of everything, to pull all kinds of wool over people's eyes as to where their electric was and which banks owned which commodity at the time that was pushing it around to make it look like it was a shortage. So the Clintons really set up the whole thing for Bush to fail. Bush was an idiot, but and he was an idiot given a bad bag as well.
And the black box was like 13 trillion missing. with the dividends and Alan Greenspan and all that. I mean, it was kind of, that money wasn't even real.
Yeah, well, that was nothing compared to the buyout of deal at the end of the Bush regime when Obama came in. What looked like $88 billion was it for the buyout was actually somewhere in the order of like $72 trillion is what the banks ended up getting for total benefits.
Right.
And that's many times our annual GDP. So I really view that the Democrats themselves have shielded the world from the damage that the Clintons did.
Right.
And when Bill Clinton came to speak to us out in Illinois, it was, I'm going to prevent NAFTA from being signed. He said, I will not sign it. I will reject it. After the election, Hillary was already building up for her political career. And she was like, I changed his mind. I got him to believe that NAFTA was the gold standard. I'm
so bad.
It's been so long. She took credit for getting NAFTA signed.
I don't know how many times I have told Democrats to read the book Listen Liberal. Of course they never do. But I was just looking up Third Way. So wasn't that, I know,
yes.
I'm forgetting all the details about it, but I know that was their
I remember it quite well.
Their thing that they started. I think it's
that was Bill Clinton's movement. What they basically wanted to do was take on the money machine that the Republicans had built from the let's see if I can remember this. Republicans at the time were getting tons of money from the oil industry. So in order to basically combat that, Bill Clinton decided to sell the Democratic Party's soul to the financial industry. Yeah. So that's what Third Way was about. It was about, basically doing the bidding of the financial industry and selling the American people completely down the river for it.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I have to admit, so we had already listened to about half of the book in the car, the audio version, when I went to People's Summit and bought this and got it signed, but I actually haven't finished the whole thing. But no, I just pulled up the Third Way website, and it's, it's still going. It's stuff we fought the NRA. But what I do remember from the half of this that I've listened to already, Listen Liberal, is that basically, the Clintons, because it was Hillary too, were able to pass all these wonderful Republican things that no Republican had been able to. Right. Because it was all, it was, people thought one thing was happening when in fact, he was getting rid of Glass-Steagall and everything else that, NAFTA and all that. So pretty scary, but it's weird that people don't understand that's what happened. Welfare reform, that a lot of people still just don't get that. They think that the Clintons were progressive.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't vote. I didn't vote for Bill Clinton either. That would have been, 92. Yeah, that would have been the first I was eligible to vote.
That was my first vote.
Yeah, right. We're the same age. So, and I didn't. Wait, did you?
I did. My first vote was for Bill Clinton first.
See,
I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I thought he was good for so long from the media and everything, and I just found out it was really Syria was what woke me up. And people trying to blame Obama, and Obama pulled the trigger, but she, that's the Secretary of State's job, is to make foreign policy recommendations to the president. I'm like, she engineered all of this. It's all fracking, and so she's a glorified salesperson for Dick Cheney. There are all these
in the Koch brothers.
Yeah.
I guess my vote, I can say that I regret. Well, the second Obama vote, I guess. But also, I voted for John Kerry. you know, stuff he did as Secretary of State, just not too pleased. But, you know, at the time, I thought he seemed like the better option. And
I think I might have too, actually.
And I was never, you know, I was never a Howard Dean fan. And I remember that election. I had some pretty liberal or whatever, progressive hippie friends of mine that were really ticked off at me for not, that I voted for John Kerry, and that I wanted Kerry instead of Howard Dean. But I don't know, there was something about, no, there was just something, there's something else about him. I just didn't, I don't know. And now
he ended up shilling for recently. He turned into a shill, so.
Yeah, he's a big pharmaceutical company lobby.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was your instinct. I heard the most disturbing thing on the radio, and it was just like this, basically this like consultant, like this drug sales consultant from DC, and he was talking about that what's needed for the opioid crisis is we need to further analyze addiction. That means we need to keep these people addicted for longer so we can study their addictive behavior. I'm like, are you kidding me? Keeping them addicted longer is going to help them beat addiction? I was like, this is the worst piece. And it sounded good. Like if I didn't have my guard up against this type of propaganda, like I would have been like, oh, you know,
these people, they prey on our lack of critical thinking skills.
Well, you know, I actually showed
really disgusting.
I actually showed my 13-year-old daughter. And I don't want to freak her out too much. She's too young. But I actually showed her. She watched about half of it, and then she was like, I can't see anymore. It upset her. Redacted Tonight, where Lee Camp had Dr. William Pepper on talking about what he had found out about Martin Luther King's Jr.'s assassination. And so my daughter sat and watched some of it, and she was like, but they teach us in school that it's this guy.
It was not Lee Harvey Oswald.
And she's kind of looking at me like,
Harvey Oswald.
But she's kind of, no, not.
Family is known for years who it actually was.
So, wait, what did you just say? I think you said.
The U.S. government.
I know what you meant.
Family is known for years who it actually was. And it was not Lee Harvey Oswald. Or not.
No.
What was the guy's name? No, not him.
That's the other
one. We're
one.
talking about the execution?
Yeah, I'm thinking about the other one.
We didn't get into that.
No, it was, I can't remember the guy's name, but
I can't think of it now either.
No, who was assassinated? Which one?
We're talking about MLK, Martin Luther King.
Okay.
So there's a great episode of Redacted Tonight where Lee interviews William Pepper, who investigated. I think he's an attorney, and he did investigations for years on everything that had happened with that, and it's very convincing that it was not the person we're told it, you know.
Right.
So my daughter was just very disturbed. She was like, well, but wait a minute, that's what we're taught in school. Why is that? And she was like, can I say that at school? And then she went, oh, yeah, everybody's going to just look at me like I'm crazy. And I said, yeah, you know.
I'm sorry, James Earl Ray, is who I'm.
That's it.
But it wasn't him.
No.
The King family is known for years that it wasn't him, and actually actively tried to get him released from prison because they knew he was framed.
Wow.
Yep. So she knows that now, and I tell her little bits at a time, but she just kept asking me, well, why do they teach us that? And it's like, are the teachers trying to trick me kind of thing? And I was like, no,
I don't think most of the teachers even know.
Right. I said, no, that was just the story. Then she's learning the word narrative. Sorry. What? Oh, well, Michael, jump in here and say something. My husband's talking about Howard Dean. He was the most progressive in that election. And then he sold out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't Bernie following... Why don't you come speak? Isn't Bernie following a similar yet not as extreme version of the same path? We're live, by the way.
Starting to look that way. We'll have to see, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, being in earshot, kind of listening quietly from the other room, how when you guys were mentioning Dean was, very much, socialized medicine. He was really pushing the progressive envelope in that space. And then almost immediately after that, he becomes the head of the party. And then really, like, on throughout the most recent election, was really pushing the pro-neoliberal, democratic machine message consistently after his loss. And then all of a sudden, Bernie literally is going down the same path, although not with as much, kind of spite in his voice. But, he's really, I don't know if he's pushing the agenda, but he's almost on like a, far less extreme, but similar curve.
Right.
Anyway, that's just what popped in my head from the peanut gallery over here.
Okay. I tell him to jump in anytime. He's got stuff to say.
On the Martin Luther King, they didn't have evidence for a criminal trial, but they did do a civil trial.
Yes.
Right.
Did present evidence, and the evidence included when the assassin turned in their expenses. So they have their expense account, and the judge found that was adequate proof that assassination team did do the job. So while it was never criminally charged, they found them to be financially liable for the death
in the civil case.
Yeah, and the I'm just remembering from the Redacted Tonight episode, but so the wife or girlfriend of the actual assassin, like, said yes. I mean, he came in here, running in here, all just like sweaty, and came in and broke the weapon down, and she said, yeah, corroborated what had happened. But I don't know how we know this now, yet the general public still has this other story they believe, and why we're teaching it in school. I mean,
because it doesn't get mainstream media.
Yeah.
Mainstream media pretty much ignores it.
And you'd expect, like, for that level of action, there would be 50 years from the death of the people involved in that team before they could release their names.
Right.
Well, I guess it just you're opening a can of worms to really people start to question everything, and they don't want to do that. So the teachers
I got news for them. People already are. That's where all these weird, goofy conspiracy theories are coming from.
Yeah, true.
Because people just they don't trust anything the media says.
Yeah.
And they go off on their own tangents because, again, they don't have the critical thinking skills to look at things rationally, and they just immediately jump to these crazy conclusions. And that's how this stuff spirals out of control. It's really kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys get my Kirby meme?
No. Where?
Oh, Kelly, you'd love it. It's
on Facebook?
In the Facebook Messenger, yeah.
Oh, I try to stay out of that hellhole. Sorry. I only got a Facebook page in December of 2017. Okay, I'll look though.
Oh, I can't read that. I'm
trying to see if I can send it to Zoom or something. I don't know.
What does it say?
It's Kirby.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
It sums it up perfectly.
Yeah.
Gatekeeping social justice by vilifying those who are ignorant but possibly willing to learn isn't only totally unproductive, but also reveals to everyone that your interest in social politics is merely an act, and you actually care very little about tangible solutions towards making the world a better place. Yeah.
That says it all.
It does.
Yeah,
and it's cute, and it's Kirby.
Nice. Man.
So I wonder how many people have actually like decided to leave Facebook though, since all that stuff came out recently. Like
I've noticed a lot of people that I used to be friends with have completely dropped off.
I'm wondering why they are surprised at all.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, I mean, I learned about stellar wind and metadata years ago, and I like all of our data is being collected all the time.
Yeah,
the
constant.
thing that I found most disturbing was something about your deleted messages. Are all there.
Yep. Nothing is ever really deleted from the internet. It just it isn't. It's out there if you know how to dig. Nothing's ever really deleted.
It's good to keep in mind.
Yep.
It's true though. Nothing is ever really deleted from the internet.
Well, everything we do, I sort of accept that it's out there. Like, all of us, we use our real names. We, people can find out a lot about you just from,
And apparently I've been shadow banned, so that's awesome.
You're just grinning way too much about that.
You're in the club now.
We also don't know what the level of record keeping is, whether it's down to the keystroke.
One of the things
you're connected.
One of the things I found kind of most disturbing, I don't remember when we were talking about it, but I think it was on Ebon's channel, that, there are hours and hours of all of us talking on there, and that basically someone could piece together, I hate to give anybody ideas, but when you can piece together something someone says, if you've got enough of them talking to create fake, something they didn't actually say.
There's a company in Canada doing that. They had
scary.
this really sophisticated kind of fake things, and they had like Barack Obama saying some crazy stuff, and they can do that now.
That was pretty terrifying. I was like, oh, wow, okay. And we volunteered for that.
Yeah.
A little late now.
Yeah, just a little.
So what do you guys, what do you think about Tim Canova escaping the Democratic Party? How do you think this will go? As far as do you think he has a shot in Florida doing this?
I think he has an even better shot.
As an independent.
Yeah, I don't think he's stupid. I think he thought it out pretty tough. And for him to make that decision, it must have looked like, okay, they're already doing the game.
Yep. I'm hoping more will follow suit. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, there's always got to be the one that steps in the water first.
Yeah. And he tells it like it is. I've really loved his most recent tweets. That he said, every state seems to have them. Democrats who push the Republican business agenda.
Yep.
In New York, they hand the Senate to GOP control. In Florida, it's the Debbie Wasserman Schultz machine protecting the same interests. So he's just kind of letting it all fly now, it sounds like.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It's awesome. I know. I did ask a candidate that I interviewed, and she was really very nice, and I felt like she was very genuine. She was running as a Democrat in North Carolina, but I did ask her, would you consider doing what Tim Canova did and run as an independent? I'm not sure she loved my question, but she said she was very certain about that her district was not corrupt and that she felt she'd been a part of the Democratic Party there for a long time, and so it was a little uncomfortable. But I did press on that, and I'll ask more candidates. Why not?
I've got a task coming up on Tuesday. I'll be interviewing her, and she's a Justice Democrat, so that'll be interesting.
Right, but what keeps some of these candidates, if they know they're up against the impossible with the D trip, as this candidate called them, the DCCC, and they're up against this impossible force to win, why not just break away and run as an independent?
Well, I think what it is that a lot of them are just they're. I mean, that's just what they've always done. Mm-hmm. They've always been Democrats, and they don't know. They just don't. Right. I mean, they just don't know any better. I mean, look at how a lot of us, what it took for us to say, I'm done with the Democratic Party. It took a lot for us to finally say, I've had enough and I'm leaving. For some of these candidates, they at that point yet, or may just not be as aware of what's going on. I mean, I weren't you talking to was it Bob Shanlon about Canova, and he had no idea what was going on down there? I mean, some of these people just they're not paying attention.
Right. Or it's just not out there. Everything on TV is something else.
Right. Right. Exactly. Wasn't covered on the news, so didn't know about it. Yeah. Well, for me, I just came around full circle because my first vote was for Ralph Nader, and I grew up listening to my Republican grandfather. I'm not joking. Bitch about Ralph Nader at the dinner table. Like when I was a little kid, I had no idea. Ooh, sorry, puppy. I had no idea who Ralph Nader was. I just knew that my grandfather bitched about him and that he made the car manufacturers put seatbelts in cars. And that was so terrible. And I'm like, I don't think I ever actually told him that I voted for Nader in 2000.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, I just kept that to myself. Yep. But I did at that time, so I didn't vote for Clinton either time in the 90s. Yeah. And, for that election, I was like, okay, I started taking quizzes online because I didn't really know where I fit, I knew I wasn't Republican, but I just didn't really know. And it came up Green Party, so I was like, okay. So that's what I did.
Well, I've been a lifelong Dem since I first voted for Bill Clinton in '92. And I'll be honest, most I really didn't even vote because I wasn't really that politically aware. And it wasn't until I came back after, having my funding cut and realized that, this is absurd. Mm-hmm. We have all these other countries that take, funding of education as being an investment in. So why aren't we doing this here? Mm-hmm. That just really absurd to me. And then you take into account healthcare and all these other things that people need that other countries they just fund them because that's what the people need. I mean, why wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. So at that point, I saw Bernie running and immediately got into his campaign, started looking for him, knocking on doors, all that kind of stuff. And then I found Nico House on Facebook. He and I linked up. We became friends. We started talking about the things in North Carolina, and I was like, you've got to be kidding. So I started talking to people here and started seeing kind of similar things going on here in California. And then we saw what happened at the convention, and I was out. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Yeah. I can't stay with this. I'm out. I'm going to the Green Party. I'm voting for Jill Stein. Enough. That was infuriating.
Yeah, and I think we were talking recently, weren't we, about the numbers that were reported as having voted for Jill Stein? And I realize it's just anecdotal, but I feel like I hear
it's not anecdotal. It's bullshit.
It does not seem like there were more. What did they say? Was it 7% voted for Gary Johnson? Something like that, but only 3% for Jill Stein? I never hear any, and I mean like, not just these circles. Of course, we're all, maybe more likely to have voted Green. But I'm just saying, in general, I just don't ever hear that.
Gary Johnson.
I don't hear that. So how is it that he got, more than double that she did? I don't know.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It doesn't make any sense.
No, only 3%.
Yeah, it just does not make any sense. Mm-mm.
So what else is going on?
Well, we've got Trump talking about sending National Guard troops to the Mexican border. I guess he couldn't get his wall.
Huh. Okay.
So he's sending National Guard troops. And the funny thing is that the only state so far to actually comply with this is amazing Texas. Who would have thought? A number of other states, most vocally, has been Oregon, who has essentially told Trump that he is out of his mind and the governor there is not going to comply. So I'm hoping other states follow suit. The thing that bothers me the most is that I don't understand how this is even a situation worthy of in any way, shape, or right. We are looking at a 40 low in terms of arrests on that border. A 46-year low. Why would you even waste your time? It's absurd. It makes no sense. I mean, the guy is just. I mean, we know he's an idiot, but I mean, he proves it every single fucking day.
Sorry to change the subject a little bit, but can somebody fill me in? Because I just saw that the Trump Tower was on fire. Does anybody know the story? What actually happened?
I didn't do it.
It was very well contained. It was, it was, because it was a good building. It was very well built building, so the fire was contained, and it was very handled nicely by the gentleman at the fire department. Excellent fireman.
Okay. But was it arson, or was it just like something, I don't know, what was anything known about the cause or how?
Hillary Clinton kept a server in there.
What?
Remotely decided to blow it up.
I'm just joking around, but you should see the Trump's tweet about it because it's really funny.
So maybe she tried to remotely blow it up or something.